Welcome to Tiny Studio Big Ideas podcast. And in today's episode, I want to be talking about uh, how you can tell, how you can self critique your own painting to see if it's working or not, or what might be going wrong, and how to do that. Uh, I found in my personal experience that it was very difficult for me to see what I was doing wrong in my own paintings without the help of other people criticizing and showing me and teaching me, my mentors, all the lovely people who came into my life to help me grow as an artist. So I got this question on in my community on YouTube, and you have to be able to critique your own artwork, but you also have to have somebody who can see things and point them out to you that you're not ready to see yet, or that you're not able to see yet, just because of lack of experience, nothing else. So I'm going to focus on ways that we can help see the things that aren't working in our paintings. And there's a couple of things to do. First of all, I uploaded today a short video. I'm doing these Vita's quick painting tips or something like that. You know me with titles. But under 5-minute quick tips to focus on specific parts of the painting process. And one of those specific parts is understanding why your painting isn't working. So the first thing that I do, and I did a lot of when I was learning how to paint, was to grab the painting, go to the bathroom mirror or any mirror, and hold it and look at it in the mirror. And you see the reflection of the painting, and essentially it's flipped. So just seeing it from a different perspective, just the flip of it, oftentimes is enough for me to see what's working and what's not working. At least I could get an idea of where the trouble spots were. And maybe it was just as vague as saying, okay, the right side of the painting for some reason isn't working. And I may not have known the reason why it wasn't working, but at least I had a general direction to look in. So then I could take the painting and sit with it and work with it. And if I was lucky, because back then I really didn't spend enough time trying to figure out exactly what was wrong with the painting. A lot of times I would just go in and do something else and see if it worked. And if it worked, great. And if it didn't, oh, well. And I, that's not a bad way to go about those stages of learning how to paint. Eventually, you will know, and you won't need to just ad lib it and just stick something in there or take something out and see what happens, because there are positive elements to that practice as well. So looking in the mirror at the reflection is a really strong and easy way to get a sense of what's working and what's not. You may not know why, again, but at least you'll have a direction. Like, okay, I need to go this way. I need to look in this area. Another really, really great trick is to, like, I don't know if you can see in the painting bag here, take the shapes. Whether I did it, I just painted the shapes in. The design, which is the essential design, is dealing with large shapes and how they work with each other on the canvas. And by doing this, which for me, it works very well because for some reason I work well with geometrical shapes. And I can see and sense just by looking at the major shapes, the large masses of the painting, what's working and what isn't. And when I did the video today, I used this painting that I'm in the first layer. So I had just put in the basic colors and shapes. And I went in with my paintbrush and an orange color and drew out the shapes on the canvas. And in this first stage, that's fine. You can do that because, I can go in and just move it into the painting. The orange is a basic color of this painting. So, it'll all come in together just fine. Otherwise, I also used to take photographs of my painting and put them up in like Photoshop or Canva, in some kind of, or even with my iPhotos, it was just fine. And looking at the photo, I could take my finger, if I didn't have the little pen for the iPhone, and just draw out the shapes. And that worked many times. But the practice of going back and looking at your shapes drawn out will really give you a dynamic visual map of your painting and how it's working and the areas that might not be working. So as an example, in this painting behind me, there is the cloud shape, which is basically a triangular shape. And within that triangular shape, I have a circular shape, which is the focal area. And it is the only circular shape in the entire painting. And so that works as a very powerful focal point. It is the only circular shape in the entire painting and will remain the only circular shape in the entire painting. And no, of course, it's not going to be a drawn out circle with borders on it. Of course, it's, it'll be broken up and things like that. But generally, the focal area shape is roundish. And that makes for a strong focal area. Plus, a high contrast, because I'm working with clouds here, and clouds are basically whitish gray, whitish orange, depending on the time of day. And so I don't have a high hue or color contrast, but I can have darks behind that circular area, which will also enhance the form and create interest, and the viewer will go through the painting to the cloud and gobble it up and just enjoy it, hopefully. The problem with this painting, again, that I did these geometrical shapes, is that I saw immediately as I was drawing out the shapes that everything is leading to this foreground tree that I have right here. So for those of you who are not watching this, on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side, in the upper right-hand side of the painting is are the clouds, the main cloud shape. And then on the lower left-hand side is a tree. And everything is pointing to that tree. So that creates a strong focal area as well. The triangular shape of the cloud line coming down diagonally comes right to the tree. The road lines curve and enhance the eye movement towards that tree. The background is coming and meeting the cloud line that has come down at that tree. So there is a lot of movement towards that tree. So if somebody is looking at the painting and I keep it this way, there will be confusion. There will be a lessening of impact because I have not decided on my focal point. If in fact I want the cloud shape to be the focal area with that circular shape, then I need to really tone down that tree, push it back, perhaps, blend it in with some other background trees so it somewhat disappears. But I have to lessen the impact, take it out of the crossroads of all the directional lines happening in the painting so far, and taking some of that away. So people don't get confused. And that is, for me, one of my favorite ways to figure out what's not working in the painting. And the other is to take the painting on your easel, turn it upside down, let it sit there, step back, step away from the painting at least 5 or 6 feet, right? And just sit with it and look at it upside down or on its side. And doing that will jar you away from the subjects that are in the painting, and you'll begin to see the more abstract shapes. Again, you're looking at the triangles and the rectangles and all the things that I talked about just before in the previous method, the one that I like to use, where I just look at all of the various shapes of the masses. And it's another way to do that. And some things will just immediately be unsettling. And you're like, oh, wait. That's not working. Like, let's say you're doing a seascape and there's a rock somewhere, and the rock just suddenly bothers you, this shape. And you'll know that that's your trouble area, and you need to look at it and sit with it. And maybe it needs to go. Just because it's in your reference photo or there in front of you, if you're plein air painting, doesn't mean you put it in. Everything has to work and play a part. in the painting. So the final method of criticizing your painting, of seeing what's not working, is simply take it off your easel and put it away. Put it away for a few days, pull it back out, look at it. If you don't see it, if you don't see what's not working, put it away again and just let it sit there. Go do something else, start a new painting, work on an older painting, just do something else. Get it out of your mind and let it be. When you have detached from that painting, you can go back and pull it out, and almost immediately you'll be like, okay, that's not right. That's not right. The colors may be wrong. The values may be wrong. It'll just kind of shout out at you and say, hey. And those are the four basic tools that I use when I need to look at my painting, to self-critique my work. This is what I want to say. The main problem with your painting will begin in your notan stage. It will begin in your 3-value sketch stage. If you do the notan, and again, this is the Japanese term of a pattern of light and dark. And if you do a notan that works, that is pleasing to your eye, that is harmonizing, that expresses whatever it is that you want to express, then when you do the 3-value sketch, the notan is 2 values, the 3-value sketch will create form. If you have a strong notan and you have a strong value sketch, your painting, if you follow your notan and 3-value sketch, your painting is going to be, I won't say 100%, but it's going to work. So when you're trying to figure out what's not working with your painting, the first place to look is back to the notan, the 3-value sketch, and your design, composition and design elements. Those are the first places you look. Afterwards, as you continue painting, you get into the second layers and you're getting things in place. If you have fixed whatever's not working in the design or whatever's not working in the composition, then you can start looking at, okay, the tree, the value's wrong in the tree. I'm going to lower the value, lower the intensity of the hue, and just push it back in towards the background. And you do that and suddenly everything works. Or, you want to create a pathway through the field that's in the foreground, or a shadow, whatever it is. Then you can begin to look at the forms and work within the forms, understanding what is working and what isn't working. Perhaps your shadow values in the background or the far mid background are much too dark, and it brings the background in towards the foreground. Those are the things that you can do in the second layer of your painting. Second or third, it depends. Every artist has their own way of going through their paintings. I generally do the notan, the 3-value sketch, underpainting, and the first layer. And then I will go back and check and adjust and fix whatever needs to be fixed. And then the second layers are usually I go through 2 times, which is really establishing the shapes. And then I begin working with the tree. This specific tree needs more of this, needs less of that. And everything, the forms begin to become the subjects. And I work with each specific subject in the painting and correct mistakes that way. And then I go through in the final layer, doing all those fun final details. But by that time, the problems are solved. I try and get all my problems solved by the end of the first layer. And because if I haven't got them solved, then no matter what I do to the painting, it's not going to work. It may be a pretty picture, but it's not artistically done. And so those are my thoughts on criticizing your own work. And again, let's say you are in the second layer before you start the final details, and you want to make sure that things are working the way you want them to work. So again, put the painting in the mirror, look at it, look at the reflection. If you're adept with Photoshop, you can go into Photoshop and put glazes over certain areas to test that out, to see how that might look. You can play around with it. I don't personally do that, but not to say if I was more adept at Photoshop that I wouldn't do it. I probably would. Turning the painting upside down and looking at it, getting back to the shapes, is everything coming together? And before I even get into that final layer, my painting better be solid. So I hope I've answered the question. This was a question from one of my people on my YouTube channel, and it is a great question. And just know that it takes time, and it takes a lot of practice. If you learn something in painting, act on it. Because if you don't actually get your brushes out and act on this new little piece of knowledge and see how it plays out in your work, you're not going to get anywhere. You'll never get better. And it's such a beautiful process, this painting thing. And it was the one thing that taught me to accept failure, to welcome failure, to welcome my weaknesses and the things that I was doing wrong. And I had never been able to do that before. And painting brought me to a more stable place within myself. So, I figured if I could hear all the mistakes I was making through my mentors in my painting and not take it personally, maybe I could also hear from those around me the mistakes that they thought I was making and that I was, and not take it personally. So painting is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pathway. I am going to sign off here. You can join me or follow me along on Facebook and all the social media stuff. But YouTube is my favorite place. And it'd be great if you subscribe to this channel and we can create a community together. All right, then. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend.